Top shot there. For 5. And Kerry Scott, Edwards, and Fredin can't beat the man at extra.
Exactly who I thought it would have gone. I mean, the Jamaica team, they have been struggling with the bat, and it continues in this game.
Here's Fredin, just plays forward. He's unbeaten on 38 at the moment. Has looked solid, for want of a better term. Has batted over 100 deliveries, 117 deliveries for his 38. So he's been extremely watchful as Edwards bowls, and this time he's driving over the top, up towards him, and at long off gets a single. How do you think he has batted?
I think he has really been the mainstay for the Jamaican team. He's really showing his experience here. He hasn't really tried anything outside of what he already knows. He's played very safe shots. He has driven the ball very well, Orville, and I think that he seems as though he's ready to bat for the long haul.
Fabian Allen, who's just come to the crease, works this one out into the onside, around towards backward square. And he gets a single. The total now 153 for 5. We make it.
Yeah. So Fabian Allen, I think I like his start. The start that we've seen from him so far. He's pushing for the singles. He's not looking to play any extravagant shots. He looks very confident.
All right, so for that in now, pushes it out towards the offside. Wanted a single initially, and didn't take it. We'll give you a run through of what we have seen since morning for those of you who want to know what has taken place prior to now. As the left arm spin of Edwards bowls and Fudadin is unable.
I think this is Kevin Hodge.
It's Hodge who's bowling from that end. All right, so yeah, cover him Hodge. 5 point, well, what's his
6 overs?
6 overs, and none for 6, the figures on the board. All right, let me just give the viewers and listeners a breakdown of what has gone so far. John Campbell went for 21, caught wicket keeper after bowling off Josh Thomas. Jermaine Blackwood was out the very next ball. LBW to Josh Thomas playing around a straight delivery. He went without scoring. Chadwick Walton mixed good aggression with good defense. He went for 52 from some 87 deliveries. And we'll continue after that. Now this is Edwards and Fabian Allen drives out towards long off. And Fullerton wanted a second. And that's all they will get. Paul Palmer, the captain, was out for 5, sweeping of the bowling of Athenaeus. And then Ravman Powell, a brisk 22 before he holed out towards long off, having hit the same bowler for a 6. And Larry Edwards went to repeat the shot and was out for 22. So those are the batsmen dismissed so far. The top scorer in the inning so far, Chadwick Walton with 52. He certainly buckled down and has been the top scorer so far. Then these two will have to do some repair damage here. Kerry Scott, 155 for 5, will not be the kind of satisfactory score that new coach Robert Haynes will want. Here is Edwards. And close.
That ball seemed as though it was an arm ball. It went across, footed in. He was on the back foot. He was thinking that the ball would have spun back at him, but it went under the arm and went through to the wicketkeeper. Very close call there.
Yeah, he's looked to be a little bit more positive in his intent. That one goes up towards cover. You can see him here, Kerry Scott, wanting to unleash the shackles, want to start expressing himself a little bit more. As Edwards from around the wicket bowls, this time he's putting up. Interesting that Edwards is choosing to operate from around the wicket here, Kerry Scott. Why would he be doing that?
He's clearly trying to send him to slip. He has 2 slips. And he's trying to get that ball across the left-hander. He's trying to bowl the arm ball. Because Fullerton, he has been playing most of these deliveries on his back foot. So one believes that Edwards really and truly wanted to come on the front foot and to try and pinch that edge.
Now he's working out towards fine leg. They take 1. They'll come back for the second. Fullerton moves on to 42. Nice little glance down from a badly directed delivery. And looking good. He started off a little uncertainly, did Asad Fullerton. Somebody mentioned earlier that is how he always starts. Yes. But he's blossomed out and looking fair.
I think what I like from Fullerton so far is that he doesn't seem rushed. He knows where his scoring areas are. He's really not looking to hit anybody with the top. What he's been doing basically, he's been trying to nudge some singles, playing the balls late behind him, square of the wicket, down the ground. So he's really and truly not looking to tear the bowling attack apart by any means. But what he's doing is building his innings. He's been there now for some 140 deliveries, just about.
It's been there a while. We'll get that in a little bit. But
125 deliveries, building on 125 deliveries, 174 minutes.
Fabian Allen comes in to the off the back foot. He's one of the newcomers here. Kerry Scott himself, Ravman Powell, O'Shane Thomas, all back into the squad. All West Indies players who are in the Jamaican side to strengthen the team. Fabian Allen, who scored 2 centuries last year, has angled this one out towards fine leg. This one below halfway to the boundary. Let's see the signal. And looks as if it came off the bat. So that will go to Fabian Allen's stop. Decent players, Fabian Allen has made a name for himself as a shortened version of the format cricketer.
I think he's a very talented player. Because even though he has done well, established himself as a 50-over player, he's also a very.
Now they're appealing. He's gone. Fabian Allen has stood around for a little bit, but that one looked relatively straight from where we are. He was looking towards working that out towards mid-wicket. And ball hit on the pad. The appeal went up, and that's the end of Fabian Allen.
Seems straight enough.
Bowling of Hodge for 7.
Seems straight enough. Again, another Jamaican batsman caught on his crease. I believe though, the Volcanoes, they don't have any man under the back. I believe that Fabian Allen must be looking to come forward much further than he really has been doing. And I think that has been his downfall. We saw it earlier with Ravman Powell, and you keep seeing it with a lot of these batsmen really continue to stay right on the front of their crease to the left arm spinner. You have to believe that they are threatening the foot, they're threatening the stumps, so they're coming straight at you. You have to get a nice stride in to try and thwart them from hitting the pads.
All right, so Jamaica has lost another wicket, and Alden Thomas now strides to the crease.
Another thing, though, Orville, I really and truly thought that the Jamaicans would have sort of shifted things around to put Ravman Powell or to put Fabian Allen ahead of Ravman Powell. Fabian Allen having done a little bit better in terms of this type of cricket, I believe that he should have been, elevated ahead of Powell.
All right, new man, Alden Thomas. The wicketkeeper plays out towards cover his first delivery.
Alden Thomas has been around for a while. One believes that sooner than later, he really truly has to start to, dominating this level.
Alden Thomas is forward again. Did see him make a century against England A right here at Savannah Park. Was it earlier this year? So he does have the potential to back. Got some useful scores for the team last year, but wasn't a pick for every game. But now that he's playing as a wicketkeeper, Chadwick Walton now playing more as a batsman, looks likely to hang on to the gloves a little bit longer. End of the over, and the Scorpions in a spot of bother here, 156 for 5.
Now that's something that I'd really truly like to have a discussion with the Scorpions management on. We've realized that they've left out Andre McCarthy,
Dennis Boulay,
the left arm spinner, right. But I mean, whilst I can understand more Boulay because with Fabian Allen coming to the team and also Nikita Miller, it really and truly will be difficult to see Dennis Boulay in the team. But Andre McCarthy being dropped from the team, and you pretty much play two persons who are wicket keepers, it seems odd.
All right, so here is Fullerton. Just turning that one out towards backward square. Edwards,
correct. Yes.
Continues to trudge away 2 4 50 from 17.1 overs. That they're appealing again, but I think that one would have been spinning down the leg side.
No, I like what Edwards has been able to do. Edwards is a little bit more expensive than Hodge because he's given the ball a little bit more here than Hodge. So he's asking more questions, I believe, than Hodge.
Yeah, this time Fullerton off the back foot. And a punch back straight to the bowler. They need Fullerton, this Jamaica Scorpions team. He didn't play in that first game against the Barbados franchise. And he'll want to cement his spot. Wants a single, but that was a not to be after just dropping that one out towards point. And you can see a battle going on. You can see Fullerton itching to get on with it. And Edwards has done well just to keep him restricted. But you can sense in his entire body maneuvers that he wants to get on with his scoring. This time he's trying to work this one, but can't beat the man at that straightish mid wicket.
Again, I like what Edwards is doing. He's really asking questions. The man who was at deep cover and the man who was at long, they're now up, which tells me that the Volcanoes will prefer bowling to the new batsman who's in.
Yeah, last ball of the over. They want the newcomer, Alden Thomas, on strike. So that's good captaincy from Kurt Edwards. Don't give a single away to the set batsman who is on 40, but see if you could have a crack at the new batsman who is not yet off the mark. So 156 for 5.
It's 6 wickets, 160 for 6.
Well, the scoreboard is taking a little time to change over. It is indeed 160 for 6.
So Hodge, to me, he'll have to try and give that ball a little bit more air. He's going a little bit too flat, but maybe in the context of what he's trying to do, he's really trying to get that LBW.
All right, so Alden Thomas now is off the mark, out towards mid-wicket. That's coming forward and driving. Maybe the inside half. Maybe look to have gone a little bit straighter than that, but he's off the mark. He should be happy with that. It's now 161 for 6.
And again, the field is backing off Fullerton. The men who were like mid-off, they're not long off. There's a deep mid-wicket for Footed. Manu was on the deep mid-wicket boundary. He's now at point for Footed. But you see a lot of space in the outfield, which means they're prepared to give Footed the single.
Yeah. Hodge bowls and Footed wants the single, but this time didn't check the ball enough. The ball ran out towards point. The man from slip ran to his left. It's that Devon Smith would have made his way to his left. Hodge bowls and he's driving. Can't beat the man at point. And this is one of the things that we were discussing off air, Kerry Scott. The inability by some West Indian batsmen to, while they are middling the ball, but not able to turn over the strike. And Footed would have put back to ball on several occasions, but just can't beat the fielders.
His hands look very lazy. He has been batting for a while, but really still doesn't seem as though he has, or he's dominating the bowling. It doesn't seem as though he has everything under control. He's getting singles at will, which I'm not even sure why the captain has opted to give him a single.
This time he's pulling around out towards mid-wicket. The mid-wicket man just in front of the Kingston Club stand has the feeling he's finally got enough strike. 162 now for 6 brings Alain Thomas. And I agreed with you there, Kerry. I think the captain is showing me a little bit too much respect. You can see that he's not as fluent. So to spread the field to all parts, I think deep mid-wicket could very well be at a conventional mid-wicket. Anyway, here's Alain Thomas now. And Hodge from around the wicket bowls, and this time he's looking very compact and very comfortable at the end of the over.
I get one more to go in that over, and the captain spread the field. Long on, deep cover, deep backward square, deep wicket, trying to give Alain Thomas a strike. For me, if I were Alain Thomas, I certainly would look to pick up that single, primarily because Alain Thomas can bat.
Yes.
And he has shown that in his short career, he's had a couple of useful innings for Jamaican team over the years. He has not been a consistent player in terms of him playing in the team, but he has always been thereabouts, and he has shown some amount of capability with the bat.
All right, so Edwards it is now. 2 for 50 from 18 overs is his figures. So he has gone for a few, but also has taken 2 good wickets. This is driven out towards the Long region, and Footed gets another run.
So now that Thomas is on strike, you can see the field closing in on him. So Edwards is bowling with a man at slip, gully, deep mid-wicket, mid-on, short mid-wicket, cover, and a man under the bat in front, the man in front of the bat.
Right, so let's watch Edwards again. Stand to the keeper, Alain Thomas. Forward, taking the outside edge. Genuinely beaten, all spinning just enough to take the outside edge of the bat. And you could see why they have 2 slips and a man at slip point, because they expect Edwards to continue to spin the ball. Alain Thomas will have his hands full here. This time he's going for the big shot. And Kerry almost steering his hair out that he doesn't have.
I mean, I still can't see why the Jamaican batsmen, Scorpion batsmen, they're always, once a ball is pitched up to them, fly to them, pitch up to them, they're all looking to go over the top. They're all looking to go down the ground. The only player we saw who was comfortable enough to come and throw that ball down to long off or deep cover was Fabian Allen. The other batsmen that we've seen so far, once Edwards gives that ball a little bit of air, they all look to hit him over the top.
Mid-on and mid-off, going a little bit way back, but still well inside the boundary. This time, forward is Thomas. And again, maybe not quite middling the ball, turning, maybe adjusting at the last minute to play it square out under the offside, but a battle is definitely on. A lot of questions being asked of the Jamaican wicketkeeper. This time he's on the back foot, looking a lot more comfortable to one that was a little bit shorter and plays out onto the offside.
I'm just disappointed that Edwards is really actually not giving the ball a little bit more air on a more consistent basis. Whenever he does that, he has looked very dangerous.
Around the wicket he comes, this time Alain Thomas on the front foot. He was on the back foot for most of the previous deliveries, now brought onto the front foot, looking fairly compact and comfortable as he played it down towards the mid-off region. Stays on 1, Asad Footed is on 42. And the Scorpions total 163 for 6. And let me go quickly through the bowling figures. Thomas has taken 2 for 42 from his 8. Edwards 2 for 51 from 19. And Hodge and Athenaeus has taken a wicket apiece from 8 and 3 overs respectively. 163 for 6 doesn't represent by any means a comfortable position for the Scorpions team, but if you remember their last innings, 65 all out against the Barbados franchise, this is an improvement. A new coach won't be too happy, but 163 for 6, you'd have to say the Volcanoes are in the driver's seat, but the Jamaicans continue to fight on. Here is Hodge, and this one is whipped. Can't be the man at short mid wicket by Fullerton though. And that's another example there, Kerry Scott, of Fullerton making good contact, but can't be the field.
So once again,
this time driving exactly the point I was making, picking out that man at short mid wicket. A meter or two to his right or left could get him a single or two, but he just picked out the man in successive deliveries. And that's one of the issues that I'm having. This time off the back foot, does get the single towards the man at deep backward square.
he's very good for the lane at tucking that ball off his body for a single. He's been really good at doing that. But one of the things, though, Marvin, I believe that once the Scorpion team can get anywhere close to 250 runs, based on what I've seen so far, that should be a challenging total on this pitch.
Hodge bowls and Alain Thomas is on the back foot. Played out onto the offside. Looking fairly comfortable that time around.
Still believe that Hodge needs to give this ball a little bit more air.
Yeah, didn't do that time. Batsman's forward again.
164 for 6. Scorpions have to try and get another 100 runs or so.
Yeah, Thomas off the back foot. And at the end of the over, 164 for 6. And let me just run through again for those who are joining us for the first time, just giving you an indication of the people who have gone. John Campbell went for 21. He got a good delivery from Josh Thomas, ball that kicked from a length, couldn't get his glove out of the way, and it went through to the keeper. He was out caught behind for 21. Jermaine Blackwood, the very next delivery was LBW, also of Josh Thomas, getting a very straight delivery, trying to play around it. He went without scoring. Chadwick Walton, he has top scored so far for 52, combined good defense with good aggression, hit some 8 fours and 2 sixes, and in the end was undone playing on to the spin of Edwards, and then Paul Palm sweeping and was out LBW for 5 off the bowling of Athenaeus. Rahman Powell is the last to go, went for 22 from just some 16 deliveries. A brisk innings, but ended in a disappointing manner, trying to hike the spinner wide of a Lagan and hold out in the mid-off region. Since then, these two, Fullerton and Alden Thomas, is trying their very best to prevent any further dismissal. As said, Fullerton is heading on towards a half century. And here's he facing another delivery from Larry Edwards. This time he's forward. A gentle inquiry, but the ball didn't carry to the man at forward short leg. But Larry Edwards certainly bowling well here, Kerry Scott, 2 for 51, and he could have maybe had better figures, certainly giving the Jamaican batsmen something to think about. Again, can't beat the field. Hitting the middle of the bat, there's only one man anywhere on the offside that is preventing a single, and he picked the man out to perfection.
That has been something that Fullerton has been doing all day long in his innings. He's really been able to find the fielders very well.
This time, the flatter, quicker delivery, he was well in tune with it, played it back to the bowler.
He's been there now some 190 minutes. He's faced 143 deliveries. And here you see the field coming in again. I still don't know why they're trying to prevent Fullerton from coming off strike. Because Fullerton seems to me as though he's just as capable of getting out as Alden Thomas. Fullerton gets the single nonetheless.
Yeah.
and moves his total to 46.
Driving down towards long on, Larry Edwards, as you said, not really giving the ball a great deal of flight, but for the accepting the invitation to drive down the ground. Alain Thomas comes back on strike. He's on one. He's faced some, 13 deliveries. So he's been there for a while, the Jamaican Scorpions wicketkeeper. And this time he's working it out towards the leg side. Should be coming back for the second. And it will go all the way into the boundary for 4 runs. So a ball that was maybe a little bit too straight, but Alain Thomas had the technical ability to just glance it out towards fine leg, gets 4, and the total now goes up to 169 for 6.
So what has been extremely amazing for me is that the Volcanoes, they're bowled now some 56 overs, and they've used 6 bowlers so far. One of whom has bowled Edwards. He has bowled 20 of those 56 overs. So they've really been trying to, move the bowlers around. Edwards, however, seems to be the only mainstay for them so far, and he has really and truly, Orville, been the man who I believe has asked more questions than everybody else.
There is Ferdinand to the bowling of Hodge.
Yes.
This time working again out towards that man at mid wicket. Interestingly, there's a man right in your vision there at a very straight and short mid on. And there's also a catching mid wicket. So they feel that with the left arm spinner coming in to Fullerton, he may just chip something straight into the leg side like that. But he picks the man out. So they're definitely working on getting him to hit straight to one of those two catching, suppose one a catching mid wicket, one a catching mid on. But that seems to be the plan.
But I think what they're really trying to do, they're trying to ask Fullerton to play a little bit squarer, to try and see if maybe he will be able to miss one, trying to go a little bit squarer, and then they'll be in business with the LBW.
This time he works this one out. Once the single doesn't get it, and this time they will. Ball ricocheting off the keeper. That's just bad cricket because the run out was never on.
It stops.
And Fullerton gets a single, takes him up now to 47. So 3 runs away from 50 for Fullerton, brings Alain Thomas back on strike. The total now 170 now for 6. The Jamaica Scorpions, after winning the toss this morning, well, you can't say this morning when the game started at 2 o'clock. So winning the toss and batting after winning the toss for this day-night fixture, game started at 2 o'clock. Have something to ask you, Kerry, after this one. Here is Thomas, confidently forward. They had a break at 4 o'clock. Is that lunchtime, or was that lunchtime?
That's dinner time.
That was dinner time.
And then the next break will be supper.
Okay. All right, here's Alain Thomas. Guess what? That didn't force him to play a little bit wide of the target. And watched it going through to the keeper. Doesn't score.
I think the Volcanoes did lost the plot a little bit to Fullerton. I'm really not interested in this strategy that they have to have the men on defense for Fullerton. Fullerton has not shown in the 148 deliveries that he's faced that he's even contemplating taking this bowling attack apart. I believe that what they need to do, they need to have people in the catching areas. They need to get more persons looking to get the wicket of Fullerton, because I believe that Fullerton is really the one who is now preventing them, or is the one who's standing in the way of them being able to get this Scorpion team out for under 200. If Fullerton continues to bat, more than likely the Scorpion team will get 200 and move closer to that 250.
All right, so another over to be bowled by Larry Edwards. And this time Fullerton working that out into the onside. And again, Kerry Scott, the 2 left-arm spinners operating are spinning it into him. And he's definitely playing with his spin out into the onside. But they also feel that they can get him to one of those short people on the onside. But so far, he's been avoiding the temptation to hit aerially into the onside. So there's a plan. He's aware of the plan, and so far he's winning that battle.
I'd certainly tempt tempting to try and play a few more shots. You know, I would bring the man who's at long off. I'd bring him up to mid off. I'd maybe bring up the mid on, the long on to mid on, and give the ball a little air. But you give that ball air, middle and leg stump. You already have the deep mid wicket, and say if you want to hit me for 4, you hit me out in deep mid wicket.
This guy is driving out towards the man at long off and gets a single. Nice shot, nice easy shot. That one had a little bit more air on it and filled in. Nice, easy, pleasant off drive down towards the man at long off. Not all the way back, mind you. Goes on to 48 with that. Total now 170 for 6, is it?
171.
171 for 6. Brings back Alain Thomas, the wicket keeper, on strike. He's on 5. Edwards from round the wicket post. He's down the pitch and driving up towards long off. The man has to run to his left. Can't get the single. Can't get the second. But Alain Thomas is known for that. He's one of those batsmen that likes to leave his crease. And that time played it pretty well. Gets his 6th run. And it's now 172.
As I said earlier, once you give that ball a little bit of air, Alain Thomas, he will try to play shots. He just can't help himself. That ball, I believe, all Alain Thomas had to do was to leave his crease and stretch out the ball, try to make contact on the full to try and get the single. Instead, he was looking to go between the man at extra cover and cover.
Put that in on 48. Is this the 50? He's on the back foot, stares into the offside, wants a single. Sent back, and much to the good because there wasn't really a single there. End of the over, and the Scorpions now 172 for 6, which represents reasonable position in the context of the contemporary regional game. You'd have to say the fielding team has the upper hand, but the Scorpions will feel that they are maybe one good partnership away from being right there in the thick of things.
I believe once put it in is there, certainly at the close-up play, I'm thinking that the Scorpions should be somewhere close to 220, 230 thereabouts once he remains there. Alain Thomas, however, I think what is happening for Alain Thomas now is that he's getting more accustomed to the light. He's seeing what is happening there. So he himself is now taking his time and getting more worked into the game. And so the Volcanoes, they have to be very careful.
That one is driven out towards mid-on by Alain Thomas. Brings footed in on strike. Thomas goes up to 6 now. Goes up to 7 actually. And footed in is on 48. He now comes back on strike. It's now 173 for 6, the Scorpions.
Footed in. Sure is itching to get to that half century.
And wants a single, but it was never on. Steering it down to the man at slip. Sent back. It's a little, I wouldn't want to say nervous, but does look a little hyperactive. You could sense that he feels now that he ought to be putting his foot to the pedal a little bit more. That was a good delivery. Played out towards gully, and that doesn't get a run.
Flat end trajectory, a little bit quicker too. Footed in was really looking to push it in front of a point, but that ball had a little pace on it, and it went behind square.
Standing forward to that delivered from Hodge. Hodge has bowled 10.4 overs so far, only 1 for 18, so he's managed to be very parsimonious with the runs he's giving away. He hasn't bowled badly at all. He's very tight with his line, and even though a single was an offer there, it was a good delivery. He's not really bowling anything short for the batsman to play any horizontal bat shots. He's not flighting as you would have wanted to see the spinners doing. He's just darting them in, but he's kept the scoring rate from his end fairly good. Almost 11 overs completed, 1 for 18, and you'll be happy with that for somebody who is 1 for 16. For somebody who isn't your frontline spinner, you take that in the day. They're appealing. He's gone! And Alain Thomas will make his way back. And we were saying how effective Hodge has been in keeping the run down, but he's also picking up wickets. Now that is his second. And Hodge getting the wicket of Alain Thomas. LBW, he's gone for 7. And if it was half even Stevens, if you could use that now, the Volcanoes will feel that they are right on top.
And again, Orville, it seems as though it's deja vu. Every one of the right-handers who have been out LBW, they've looked the exact same way. All of them not getting that front foot out to the ball. They're all caught on the top of their crease. With the left arm spinner, looking to dart these balls back in. All of them are being caught right on top of the crease and the ball hits the pad. More than likely the finger will go up. That we've seen right throughout the day. I still can't understand without, they don't have a man under the bat, but at the same time, the batsmen are not willing to get that big stride out to these deliveries. And the Scorpions, they've lost their 7th wicket now. It's 174, and the 250 runs seems further and further away from reality.
All right, so while the Jamaicans are trying to make some amends, Nikita Miller, who can be useful with a bat, he's making his way, the former Jamaica captain. Of course, he's given up those duties to Paul Palmer. And to take you through for the next half hour in the ball-by-ball chair is Sean.
So while Sean gets himself together, Nikita Miller will have a lot of work here to do. He's one of the senior players. He's a pretty handy batsman. He really and truly won't be tearing any bowling attack apart, but certainly he's very competent with the bat. He can put a partnership together here with Put It In. That is something that I'm sure that the Scorpions would really and truly love to see, or at least even to ensure that they don't lose another wicket onto the break.
That's right, Kerry. Good evening, listeners. Jamaica, them digging themselves here into a hole with only Put It In. The man still there after facing some 157 deliveries. He's 49 not out. The fields being changed here by the Windward Islands Volcanoes captain. Put It In is on strike. Here is Edwards as he comes over the off stump, and Put It In is back and defends this one back up the pitch. Not looking to take a run there. The score remains on 174 for 7 here at Sabina Park. This is Jamaica Scorpions' second game, round 3. Again, Edwards is in and Put It In is forward, and in defense wants to take the single. However, Nikita Miller has not moved from his position down at the non-strikers end. Our umpires for this game, Christopher Taylor from Jamaica and Leslie Reefer Jr., he is from Barbados.
So Put It In, he's scoring at about 30. That's a strike rate. Seems very nonchalant in his approach. Doesn't seem rushed. And he's just taking his time and going about his business. And I'm sure he would love to notch his half century. Here he's looking for the single, but can't get it. Excellent work by the man in the cover. And they can't score. Put It In, Sean, he has really and truly been the mainstay for the Jamaican batting since the departure of Chadwick Walton. And one believes that he would definitely have to be there at the end of play if the Jamaica Scorpions team are to be in a safer position.
Right, he would definitely have to be there at the end of play. He has batted for some 205 minutes, facing 161 deliveries, and really spending some time at the crease. Here he is facing up to Edwards and he's back and almost there into an ungainly position. He played that delivery somewhat off his front foot, went for a defensive stroke, pushing out that back to the man who was at cover for a no run there taken. The captain now moves to take that man off the deep long leg boundary. He brings him up to an orthodox position at square leg, also moving the man off the long on boundary, carrying him up to mid-off. See, trying to keep Put It In on strike there. He's not one to really push for the singles. It's 21.5 overs now bowled by the left arm spinner Edwards. The final delivery of this is 22nd over, and he's in and over the off stump to Put It In. Put It In is back and trying to force this one on the leg side. However, there is no run. That ends the over. The score remains at 174 for 7. A maiden over there by Edwards.
So we're getting closer and closer to supper. By my watch, it seems as though another, what, 17 minutes? Between 15 minutes or so?
Yeah,
17, another 17 minutes. Another 17 minutes for the break. And the over rate is going extremely good. The Volcanoes, they've gone through 60 overs so far. It's understandable. They've been operating with a lot of spinners, and the spinners have been going through their overs very quickly. Nikita Miller, he will face his first delivery to Hodge. Hodge has been very, very measly with his bowling.
that's right. Hodge operating from the southern end, umpire Leslie Reefer. He is in charge at that end, and there is a man at mid wicket and mid on, a deepish square leg, some meters in off the boundary. He runs in and stops, doesn't bowl. The batsman Nikita Miller wasn't ready. There's a man in at silly point, the keeper, the slip, a man at cover, extra cover, a point, and mid off. Here is Hodge into both Miller, and Miller is forward and driving this one up to cover. He took off for the single, however, he was sent back by footed in. The batsman footed in now comes down. Wanted to have a discussion with Miller, but Miller said, just be cool, Mr. Fredin. I got this under control. Miller settles in again. Hodge is about to bowl. A man at mid-on goes back a couple of paces. Hodge is in and he bowls and Fredin. Sorry, Miller is forward in defense. There is no run.
A nice little crowd there at Kingston Cricket Club stand. A lot of members are over there this evening.
That's right. Again, Miller forward in defense. Miller has been, pretty good for his position with the bat over the years. Has made some significant contributions when he gets his turn. However, this one is a very big appeal. It seems to be caught behind. The keeper made a very clean take there. The umpire judged Miller out. He turned without no disappointment at all. The only disappointment being that he could not have contributed more to this Jamaica and Scorpions cause, and he trudges back to the pavilion head down. He goes for not.
Could not have contributed more, or could not have contributed any at all.
That's right, 174 for 8 the score now. The Scorpions batting first here at Sabina Park against the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And Nikita Miller, the last man to go, caught by wicketkeeper Sonny Lambres, coming off West Indies duties, bowled by the spinner Hodge. And the spinners have really tightened the grip on this first innings here by the Scorpions.
So again, the Scorpions, they've lost a whole lot of wickets in a clump, and same thing happened to them in the first game against Barbados, where they lost something like about 6 wickets for about 18 runs or so. They've again here lost some 3 wickets in the space of, or just for about 8 runs. So again, it's a big struggle for them. And the man Hodge, he collected his 3rd wicket, and that brings Renard Leverage onto strike. Leverage is really not known for his batting.
No, he is not actually. Leverage a big, tall, fast bowler. Do you remember? It's actually O'Shane Thomas. Right, it's O'Shane Thomas facing up now. He is
Bold.
and there's a
Bold
all over the shop. That one was a pretty weird. The scoreboard is saying it's Renard Leverage, but from all indications, it seems to be O'Shane Thomas. And first delivery bowled by Hodge has taken his off stump. Hodge picks up his 4th wicket of the innings for only a mere 16 runs from his 11.5 overs. And the Scorpions really and truly now in a spot of bother after being somewhat in a comfortable position with footed in and earlier the Rodman Powell. Well, he was batting. Now they have lost 8 wickets for 174 runs. A very good bowling here by the Windward Island Volcanoes.
So the man Hodge, He's on a hat trick, and he's really done an extremely good job for his team. That was the last delivery in that over that took the off stump of Shane Thomas. And I'm sure Renard Leverage would not have been pleased to see his name up on the board and the loss of the off stump.
That's right. And Leverage now has actually come out to take strike. However, that was the last delivery of that over. So we'll be having a left arm spinner from the Michael holding end, Mr. Edwards. He will be taking up the bowling to Footerden, who is down at the striker's end, settling into knock now. Here is Edwards, and he's into Footerden, and Footerden is forward and in defense, and they won't score. The ball trickles out to the man at cover. I think Footerden should now try to press on a bit to get this additional 26 runs that's needed to cross that 200 mark.
Yeah, indeed. I think he really and truly should be looking to play a couple shots now. He's been on 49 for some 12 deliveries, and that really and truly can't be good for him or for the Scorpions. But he humbly goes about his business.
That's right. Again, Edwards into Footerden and he's back and playing defensively. The men out today, John Campbell, he was caught Ambrose, bowled by Josh Thomas for 21. He faced some 15 deliveries, hitting 5 fours. The batsmen now meet in the center of the pitch. I'm not sure what they will be discussing. Chadwick Walton, he was bowled by Larry Edward for 52, facing some 87 deliveries. Jermaine Blackwood, he made naught from only 1 delivery. Again, let us pause while we come back live. They have brought up the man again off the long off boundary. Kirk Edwards here ringing the changes. Edwards pauses. They have also removed that man from the deep square leg boundary and carried him into an orthodox position at square leg. Really trying to keep the man footed in on strike, while they have made another adjustment to the field. The man at extra cover is running off the boundary and now saving one. Here is Edwards into both footed and footed in his forward, and he seems to, there's an appeal for a stumping down the leg side. Footed in was forward and in defense. That ball spun away from him, and the keeper did a very good job there of stumping down the leg side. However, footed in was, he had his foot right back in the crease, and not out was the call from umpire Leslie Reefer.
Smart piece of cricket there by the bowler. Something tells me that he had an idea that Footerden would have tried something of that nature. Footerden looked as though he was planning to come down the pitch. The bowler bowled it down the leg side. Excellent work by the keeper. But Footerden as well did some very smart work to keep that back foot down.
Well done by Sunil Ambrose. This ball again is pitched up, and Footerden is driving the outside edge of the bat, and he squeezes out to mid wicket. There is no run. Again, putting pressure onto the score. Here is Footerden not scoring for some good while now, at least 10 minutes. Footerden, he's down the final delivery of the 24th over by Edwards. The score is 174 for the loss of 9.
Then 174 for a few overs.
Few overs now. The last 2 batsmen both made naught. Nikita Miller and O'Shane Thomas. Changes and adjustments being made in the field. They really don't want Footerden to get this single and get this 50th run. He's on 49 from some 168 deliveries now. He settles.
Footerden has really dug himself into a hole. Here he is hitting this ball deep to mid wicket. He goes through and he gets his single and he gets his 50th run.
That's a very good shot there by Footerden. He was down the track to a somewhat flighted delivery and swung it into that vacant-ish mid-wicket area. There was a man on the orthodox mid-wicket boundary who he had really no chance. He just came in to cut off them, stop them from getting 2 runs, which they, I'm sure, wouldn't have taken. And again, Going down the batting order, Paul Palmer, he was LBW to Alec Athanaze for 5, facing some 31 deliveries for his 5, a pretty long vigil there. Rothman Powell, he was caught by Cater, bowled by Larry Edward again. Larry's second wicket for 22 runs. Fabian Allen, he was LBW Hodge for 7. Aldine Thomas, the same for 7 as well. Nikita Miller, Kavim Hodge, caught by Sunil Ambrose, the wicket keeper, for without scoring. And O'Shane Thomas, brilliant bowling by Hodge. His 4th wicket, he also got him for without scoring.
So again, for the day, having difficulty trying to find that boundary. This is the first time I've seen him really raise his bat and angle for a few overs well, and he only succeeded in one down to the man at long on.
Well, here again is Hodge, and he's turning this one down to the Kingston Cricket Club stand, and they have gone for a single off the second delivery of the over. After turning down the first delivery of the
I'm
over.
confused. I'm really confused. The very first delivery, put it in, drove it down to the man at long on. He refused the single, and the second ball, he hit a short ball down to deep mid wicket, and he took the single. Now exposing leverage to the remaining 4 deliveries in this over. I'm really and truly unsure whether Foden is trying to look the average.
I am not quite sure what is it, but is he like his fellow Guyanese Shifner and Shanapal? Not one to hold strike. Here again is the bowler into the new batsman leverage, and he's forward with his tall frame, playing that one defensively back up the pitch, and rehearsed what seems to be a mighty heave over mid wicket, aiming for the car park. Some lovely cars over there. Let's see what he does with this. The next delivery from Hodge, and he's in and he's driving this one up to Hodge, and Hodge has misfielded that ball. They have gotten the single and they opted to take the single as well. The score trickles over now to 176 for the loss of 9 wickets, some 62 overs faced by the Scorpions in this innings. A day-night affair here at Sabina Park.
Again, I still can't understand why they would have taken that single.
Again, here is putting his back, and he's trying to cut this one, which is beats him out on the line of the off stump, and collected by the Sunil Ambrose. Very good ball there, bowled by Hodge, and footed in. He is now trying to see where he can score. It's the last delivery of the over, and footed in. He's driving this one outside edge. It peels off the edge of the bat and runs down to the third man position, where the man from point has to do the fielding. They have gotten the single. Hodge completes 13 overs, 4 wickets, 1 maiden for 19 runs. That's some kind of spell he has bowled this far so far, Curry.
He's been the chief destroyer for the Volcanoes. He's been very, very tight with his bowling. He's really actually not giving away much. He's not been like Edwards, was giving the ball some amount of flight. He's been bowling a little bit flatter, and he's really been threatening the front pad of all the right-handers who we've seen. He also threatened, and not only threatened, but destroyed the off stump of O'Shane Thomas. And he's been doing extremely well for his team. The score is 178 for 9, and we are still some 4 minutes away from the break. The 9 wickets are down, so I believe they'll play an additional half an hour.
I believe so too. If the Jamaicans bat for the next 5 minutes. Again, here's Edwards in to put it in, and he's down and playing this one all the way down to long, and they will not go for the run. And the Jamaican Scorpions have lost some 4 wickets for a mere 30 runs, coming from 148 for the loss of 5 with Rothman Powell. They are now 178 for the loss of 9. Again, Edwards in and footed in his back, and not interested in trying to get a run.
I still believe though that Fooden can try and be a little bit more creative in trying to find gaps in the outfield. He's just been reserved in his approach.
Here he is again, and this one is driving on the line of the off stump, and the fielding is done by the man at cover. It seems to be the captain, Kirk Edwards, the Bayesian. He's about 6'7" tall. Really went down on his haunches there to stop that one. Again, Edwards into footed and footing his back, and he's beaten on the line of the off stump. A poor shot there, I reckon. That delivery was too close to the off stump for him to be trying to cut it. But again, it was made for him, the vacant region in the offside. He wanted to get that delivery there. However, it was too close to cut. And again, we see the same play. At 24.4 overs bowled by Edwards, 2 deliveries to go in this over, and the fielding adjustments have been made. Here, the footing is down the track and hitting this one all along the ground. It's coming down to the man at long on. They walk through for the single. It takes the score up to 179 for the loss of 9 wickets. And another delivery to go in this over by Edwards. 24.5 overs bowled by him, 2 wickets for 60 runs. He has bowled some 9 maidens. He waits as the batsmen meet and have a discussion. Leverage is the man on strike. Edwards at his mark is told to wait as another adjustment has been made. The man at that's a silly mid wicket, mid out. He comes in a little bit closer. Again, Edwards into leverage, and leverage is forward and defending. Trying to push this ball on the offside. It takes him on the pad and it runs on the pitch, and that's the call of over. 179 for 9. Some 64 overs have been completed. What is your take thus far in the innings?
Well, clearly the Volcanoes, they are large and in charge. One believes that 179 runs for them, they would have done extremely well to get this Scorpion team out for anything under 200. And one believes that they would back themselves to get those runs. But certainly, the Scorpions, they're fighting away. Footed in, he's played the lone hand here. He's on 53. And he's really and truly done extremely well. I believe that the Volcanoes, they have missed a trick. They've missed a trick bowling to footed in.
He's back and punch this one into covers, and he seems that he can get 2 runs. The man at point gives chase, and he picks up now. The throw will come in. Footed in has successfully gotten the 2 runs he needed. He moves on to 55. The score now 181 for the loss of 9. Footed in gets back strike to the man Hodge, who has bowled some 13.1 overs for 21 runs for his 4 wickets. Again, he's in, and Footed in is hitting this one high and hard over the man alone, who makes a valiant attempt trying to catch that one. He goes into the Georgia stand for 6 runs. A very good shot there by Footed in.
So Footed in finally has decided to take a little risk here and bring the attack to the bowlers. Well done by him, and I'm sure that 6 very valuable runs for the Scorpions team. Footed in, certainly he'll be looking to do a little bit more than that. Once he can try and get the score close to 200 so they can get some batting points.
That's right. Here's Hodge again in, and Footed in is defending this one up to mid wicket. A very long vigil here by Footed in. Some 177 deliveries faced for his 61 very valuable runs. I mean, they would have noticed that he has been very patient, but that 6 over long on just now has prompted the captain to have 6 men actually in the deep for Footed in. He's in and facing this one and is pushing this down past the man at point who gives chase. Will this one go for 4? It will not. They have gone just for the single. Could have been done better. However, there are 4 deliveries bowled by Hodge. Footed in comes down to do his overly pep talk to Leverage, who is really not in the mood to lift his bat. He is just defending as a proper number 11 should, and waiting to give all the strike back to Asad Footed in, the man from Guyana, playing for the Scorpions.
So again, Footed in, he settled for the single a while ago because it's two deliveries left in the over, and one believes that he wouldn't want to give Leverage more than 2 deliveries, and again, he wouldn't want to be left on strike trying to eke out a single.
Again, Leverage is turning this one into the deep square leg region, and Footed in turns down the single. At this point of the game, 2 deliveries to go, I think he could have taken a chance and try to get the single of the last ball. However, I imagine he's playing it safe by not doing so. Again, here is Hodge into leverage, who plays defensively, misses. It's collected by the keeper, Ambrose, who runs over as the over is called by umpire Leslie Reefer, and the score 188 for the loss of 9 wickets. The bowling figures by the Windward Islands Volcanoes: Sherman Lewis, 10 overs, 27 runs, no wicket. Josh Thomas, 8 overs, 42 runs for 2 wickets. Ray Jordan, 6 overs, 50 runs, no wickets. Larry Edwards, the left-arm spinner, 24 overs, 60 runs for his 2 wickets. Kaveem Hodge, the pick of the bowlers so far, 14 overs, 28 runs, 4 wickets. And the Lick Athenaeus, who got our captain, Jamaica's Paul Palmer, sweeping. He was out 9 runs from his 3 overs, the solitary wicket. Again, Edwards has bowled unchanged from the Michael Holding end. And again, Kirk Edwards adjusting, making these feeling adjustments as Footed is on strike. He is wondering what Footed will do next. He has brought up that man from mid-wicket off the boundary, some 5 yards in. Not quite sure why. We'll see with the left-arm spinner Edwards bowling. Edwards is in to Footed and Footed is back and defending this one. There will be no run as the man from mid-wicket trudges in to get that ball which popped out on the leg side from that defensive stroke. What do you make of his field setting, Kerry? It's a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5-4 field. Footed back and defending again. First 2 deliveries. He is not looking to score.
Primarily the same field that they've had to Footed in. The only challenge I'm having is with Edwards. I believe Edwards can give this ball a little bit more air to try and tempt Footed to play a little bit more, to play some shots down the ground, to maybe try and take him for 6, as we saw the over before that he hit that 6 off Hodge. And I believe that must be the ploy to dangle the carrot in front of Footed.
Some 5 deliveries faced by Renard Leverage. He has blocked them all. He is 1 not out. Footed, the man on strike. He is the 6th, another 40 minutes or so. And for continuing, we welcome Dr. Mansingh, who takes it. And this ball by Hodge is hit high and handsomely into the George Headley stand for 6 runs. From some 185 deliveries. He ensured that he took this first delivery from Hodge, which was flighted on the line of the off stump, and he hit it handsomely and easily into the George Headley stand. Welcome, Dr. Mansingh.
Thank you very much. Good evening to listeners. Well, 21-run partnership for the 10th wicket, which is welcome to the Jamaica Scorpions.
That's right. Footed again is back and punching this one through the covers, and there's no run as Kirk Edwards does the fielding, diving down to his right and stopping that one.
Footed has had a nice long innings, but one could say that his placement has just not been as exquisite as you'd expect somebody of his experience, finding the fielders more often than finding the gaps.
That's right. Again, Hodge is playing, bowling this one on the line of the mid stump. Footed looking to squeeze it out on the onside, but does so again. Finding a bit difficult now as Hodge has really changed his length since the first delivery. Again, Footed is back. He gets his run this time, and there's an attempt for a run out. Leverage with those long legs, easily made it down to the non-strikers end for a single. The score moves on to 197 for the loss of 9 wickets.
Good running by Footed. His trusted leverage with no more than 2 balls per over. But the good thing is that in the first few balls of overs, he does look like he's going for boundaries, which we hadn't seen earlier on. Of course, he was on 49 when 6 wickets were down, and suddenly found himself on 49 when 9 wickets. You could see him planning the innings in a different frame of mind until the wickets started tumbling in leverage. He was faced to his credit just 6 balls in this partnership, so he's been able to stay off the strike more often than not.
That's right. Again, here's Leverage in, and he's playing this shot, which he seems to fancy. That leg side flick seems to be an on drive. I'm not quite sure what Leverage is playing. However, he has survived another delivery. 14.5 overs bowled by Hodge, who has gotten some 4 wickets and really looking to get a 5-wicket haul here. Changes in the field. Long off is going back, and the man at point, thinking that Leverage is getting expansive with his stroke play and he's back and comfortably in defense. Courtney Walsh will be very proud of that defensive stroke there by Leverage. And that brings the end of the over. It's 196 for the loss of 9 wickets. The Scorpions looking to push on in this extra half hour of what should have been tea. However, the Scorpions holding on through Asad Fuddadin. He is 70 runs from 191 deliveries, batting for some 232 minutes. And with him is the fast bowler Renard Leverage, 1 from his 8 deliveries.
And so far, Kevin Hodge has bowled 15 overs, taking 4 for 35. And yet those 4 wickets that we've seen him take have not been exclusive balls. They've been basically just on a very good line, just outside the stump. More often than not, the ball is not turned and the batsman has played for the turn, getting out LBW caught behind as we saw in the last 2 or 3 wickets. And the one that did turn took an outside edge as well. So not much variation from him, not expansive turn, just a very tight line of length. And you have to say that the batsmen undid themselves rather than the bowlers undoing the batsmen.
Yeah, we're going to need the changes here in the commentary booth as well, thanks to Sean Johnson, as Larry Edwards continues from the Courtney Walsh end. Asad Fuddadin pushes this one onto the onside. He stays on 70, has faced 192 deliveries, has been there for 233 minutes, and the partnership now up to 22 valuable runs as the Jamaica Scorpions, they approach 200 mark. Here he is once more. Edwards footed in on the back foot, pushes it into the cover region. And the man at a deepish extra cover comes around almost to where backward point should have been and picks up and throws back to the wicket.
And that's part of the problem there, because there's nobody fielding from a deep extra cover all the way to first slip. And you expect Fuddadin to play it a bit finer and therefore go for the 2, but instead just not able to pick his spots.
The left-handed Edwards over the wicket. This one hit down the ground towards long off, picked up, and again no run. This is the 4th delivery of the 68th over, and the Jamaica Scorpions 196 for 9. That's the 3rd delivery of the over. So we're halfway through the 68th over. Asad Fuddadin taps away, and the crease here again is Edwards, flanking delivery. A decent length outside the off stump, but Fuddadin again defends into the offside this time.
So the partnership now up to 22 and Fuddadin farming most of the strike as you'd expect him to. 4 balls gone now, you'd look at him to take a single. There's still a lot of space as from first slip you have nobody until a conventional cover now, and so the field very much for the front foot shots. If you can just open the face of the bat, he could get that single very easily.
Edwards once again passes umpire. So Taylor flicks this one towards the long on one, so that's fantastic work done there. Just in front of the left wing of the north stand, and they were able to come. And the score now goes up to 198 for the loss of 9 wickets. Asad Fuddadin there on 72.
Good fielding there by conventional fielding, you'd have to say 2 people going after the ball, and therefore one was able to flick it with his foot. There's no chance of them diving. He had to save it with the foot, but the other was there to pick it up and prevent a 3rd run. So very, very good fielding, good technique. Reflective perhaps of the coaching of Andre Coley, who was the fielding coach, of course, of the West Indies for many years.
He was head coach at the Windward Islands Volcanoes. It was a short delivery. Fuddadin was looking to pull that. An appeal for a caught slip. Umpire Taylor says no, and the end of over number 68. And the Jamaica Scorpions having won the toss and batting, they're now 198 for the loss of 9 wickets. Asad Fuddadin 72, and with him is Renard Leverage. He's there on 1. The partnership now 24, and the last over. Only 2 runs coming off it.
And we're in the 18th minute now of an extended tea session. Of course, when 9 wickets are down, you can extend that session, the second session, by half an hour, and they've elected to do that, or until a wicket falls. But we haven't seen anything that looks like it's going to make a wicket fall. But for the first time, Renard Leverage is going to face the first ball of an over.
It's unusual for Renard Leverage. A couple years ago in the Super 50 tournament, he ended with a couple of dubs. Here now is Kevin Hodge. Has pulled well, Kevin Hodge. 15 overs, 2 mains, 4 for 34, 4 for 35. So I'm in the Caribbean Premier League as well for the St. Lucia Zouks. Here he is once more. Left arm spin over the wicket from the Michael Olding and Leverage on the front foot defense and defense well.
Part of the victorious CCC team as well in the Super 50, Kevin Hodge.
And that's the CCC team led, of course, by Carlos Brathwaite. Had a fantastic competition. They were in the same group with the Jamaica Scorpions as well.
Defeated them as well. That was a bit of a shocker.
The Scorpions actually won the first meeting in Kville. Here's Leverage, a full toss, and they played it one bounce to the man at mid-off. They were able to scamper through for the single, and Leverage there just maybe reversing what he should have done. Luckily, he's not out and puts Asset Footed in on strike again.
Well, happily he didn't do that because he was trying to play a very lofted and full-blooded shot. His job is to give Footed in the strike, and I think Footed has to remind him of that. Granted, when the ball is bolted, he plays a bit more responsive, but after that, he shows what his intent really should have been, and it's not very attractive.
Here again is Kadeem Hodge, Asset Footed in, short delivery, punched off the back foot and down to a deep mid-wicket. They go through for the single, puts Renard Leverage on strike again. Asset Footed in, since coming to the Jamaica Scorpions, this would maybe his second season as a 200 comes up for the Jamaica Scorpions of 415 deliveries in 266 minutes. And you get the feeling that Asset Footed in has been at the crease for 266 minutes.
Indeed, yes, but a very responsible innings and the sort of innings you want to see. We've seen some of the players come back to this form of cricket, like Rodman Powell, for example, playing lofted shots when you don't need to do that.
Here is Leverage, a forward, defends well, Renard Leverage, then walks away, looks pretty confident, though he's just faced 12 deliveries. A partnership now worth 26, the final wicket. Here again is Kadeem Hodge. Leverage again defends, and Sunil Ambrose is a wicket keeper here for the Windward Islands. That time thought the ball had snuck through. The end of over number 69, the Scorpions 200 for 9. Asset Footed in, stand here, now 73.
Interesting over there because it started off with Leverage taking strike, getting a single off of the third ball, off the second ball actually, and then Footed in willing to take a single off the third ball and therefore give Leverage a strike again. And then you can see the confidence growing in Leverage, who's doing the right thing even though he rehearses the wrong thing. And you're seeing Footed in perhaps giving him a bit more of the strike and therefore taking the runs that are on offer. Now, the first few balls of the over, you are seeing Footed in go after it. He's been going aerial, he's had 2 sixes already. But he's been playing good cricket shots, and that's very important because he's not the sort of guy who can go there and just swing the bat willy-nilly. He has to play within his technique, and you're seeing him do that. And he's accumulated upwards of about 30 runs almost, just playing responsible cricket at one end.
Asset Footed in, having been left out of the spot to Barbados, comes here with something and plays this one back past the bowler. Renard Leverage's bat got in the way. There is no run, was left out of the squad that went to Barbados. And this inning shows that maybe if he was there, the result could have been different. The Scorpions being bowled out for 65 in their second innings, needed 107 runs to win. Here's a ball that short of a length, Footed in, tucks it onto the onside. It goes to the square leg region. There is no run. Score remains at 200 for 9.
The idea, of course, of having these players going to other franchises, that you get experienced players who can teach, not only score. And that's exactly what Footed in has done today.
Here again is Edwards from the Courtney Walsh end. Asset Footed in again, shuffles across his stumps. This one to the leg side, a similar region. There is no run. And there is the greeting party again in the middle of the field. Middle of the pitch, I wonder what they say during that little meeting.
Well, I think what they're saying is that the field is still spread out, so if they get the single, they perhaps will take it. Interestingly, Footed has been going on the back foot more of this over than he has so far. The ball's still up to him, but he figures that if he goes on the back foot, there's not much turn in the pitch. He perhaps can guide it to those gaps that we spoke about, but still not able to do so.
Edwards, so 2 spinners operating at the ends here, named after 2 fast bowlers, Courtney Walsh and Michael Olding. This one pushed down to long on. And Asset Footed in, having pushed that back past the bowler, didn't even look as if he was interested in a run.
So clearly the discussion was that it's not going to happen off the third ball or the fourth ball, we're going for the fifth or sixth. So one would expect that single to come. But as you mentioned, the spin has been operating for a while, and maybe it's time to bring on a fast bowler.
Just maybe. The Renard Leverage, par is 2 deliveries per over. He won't get it in this over because 4 deliveries have been bowled, and Asset Footed in is still on strike. There is a meeting side between Kirk Edwards and Devon Smith, 2 of the most experienced players in this Windward Islands team.
Counted by a meeting with Asset Footed in and Renard Leverage. So a lot of talking taking place and not enough action.
Footed in, though, gets back on strike. Larry 263 has gone well for the Volcanoes team. Here he is, passes Chris Taylor, a flighted delivery, fitted in well out on his front foot, and again into the onside. So one delivery left in this over, and maybe I said fitted in saying, well, Renard, you can manage Kavim Hodge from the other end. I'll just see how this over. Here he is once more. Edwards, the asset footed in, flighted, footed in on the front foot, plays it to mid-on, goes through for the single. Renard leverage was late, but the throw came to the bowler's end. Footed in was well and truly in, and they get through for the single, and the score now goes up to 201 for the loss of 9 at the end of over number 70.
And they've extended this tea session by a full 20 minutes now, so good going there. But the ball before this, slightly over pitch, outside off stump. A modern cricketer really would have probably swept that. No chance of being LBW, but you really could have got some power and put it to the deep mid-wicket boundary instead put it inside the plate straight. And that's the sort of innovation you'd expect somebody of his experience to have, to be able to push on the score while playing shots, which are not conventional in days gone by, but very much conventional now. But once you're outside the off stump, that negates the LBW if you're struck outside that line. And with the ball not turning so much, that's the thought that put it in may have to entertain. Well, still no spinner, as Kavim Hodge will continue.
Here's Hodge. Spread, there's a man at short mid-wicket, a man at cover, you have deep extra cover, long on, long off, deep mid-wicket, as this one is defended by fitted in, well, it goes down to the man at that defined leg position, almost a deep backward square, maybe there for the sweep. There's a man just in front of the Kingston Cricket Club at deep mid-wicket, and a man at cow corner as well. So they're offering the single to asset footed in. The man at long on here again is Hodge. The footed in, defends this one again, back to the bowler. So the single is there on offer, and feel you think, Doc, if it's not big enough, where if you time it properly with the right amount of backspin, you can take 2. Here is Hodge once more to footed in. He's not looking for ones or twos here, he's just defending. And this partnership has been important.
Well, you've got about 6 fielders on the boundary, and figure he'd fight 1 at least, and try to tempt the batsman to hit in the air.
Well, here he is. He's not flighting them. Kavim Hodge is pushing them through, and maybe that's a little bit disappointing from him.
The Windwards still waiting for the batsman to make a mistake instead of enticing a wicket, either by flighting the ball or turning the ball.
Here is Hodge once again. Asad footed in, who pushes this to the man at deep extra cover. They come through for the single now. His score moves up to 75. The Jamaica scorpions down to 202 for 9. I'm going to put this to you, Doc. Whether or not it's a good idea to spread the field and offer the single for asset footed in, or it's a situation where you're trying to attack both batsmen because you need a wicket here.
The thing is, the attacking is not really working in that he's darting the ball, and therefore it's very unlikely to get the ball to turn off the pitch. Now, if you want to use the pitch, if you're an out-and-out spinner, you actually want to use your skill and get something off of the pitch. But right now, the ball is coming straight. Granted, we saw some batsmen make a mistake by playing down the wrong line, expecting it to turn, but footed in has been there long enough to realize that if he gets behind the line of the ball, chances are he's going to have it covered. So when certainly going to footed in, you expect them to try something different. But the Windwards for the last, I'd say, 40 minutes have not really done much different to what they were doing before that. And as I said, it was the batsman who made the mistake. Now, a lot of conferencing taking place here between Kirk Edwards and Hodge himself. Can't imagine what it is. 5 balls have gone. It's quite obvious that Leverage is going to try and block this ball.
Yeah, there's a man at the first slip, second slip. There's a man at back pad or short leg, a short mid wicket, a cover mid on. There is wind off rather. There is a long on. A man at extra cover. There's a deep mid wicket as well. So here is Hodge. Number 71, the score 202 for 9. And guess what? The players are leaving the field because it is tea. The 30 minutes added wasn't enough for the Windward Islands to get their final wicket as Reynard Leverage puts up a rear guard there with Asset footed in, who has been at the wicket for 246 minutes. And the Jamaica Scorpions will go into the tea break at 202 for the loss of 9.
Well, 28 runs for this partnership, more than 10% of the score. By far, a very meaningful partnership with sensible cricket, mainly led by Asad Footed, who has played a sensible innings, 246 minutes, showing that he can stand there and play the ball, but also play attackingly when he needs to. The Windward Islands will have to regroup, rethink, and hopefully come back with some fast bowling.
So the Jamaica Scorpions, having won the toss, selected to bat John Campbell. He was first to go. He went for 21. That wicket fell at 30. And then Jermaine Blackwood, he didn't last long because he faced only one delivery before being dismissed for naught. Chadwick Walton was the other wicket to go with a score at 96. He made a well played 51. He was someone at 52. He was there looking to play himself into form. 8 fours and a 6. Asset footed in is still there at 75. Paul Palmer Jr. He went for 5 after facing 31 deliveries. He faced 24 deliveries before he got off the mark for the deep mid-wicket boundary. Rothman Powell looked good for 22, then got a 6 off Larry Edwards, and then the next delivery, he tried the same and was caught by Roland Cato. He made 22, 2 sixes, no 4s. Fabian Allen faced 15 deliveries, made 7 runs. Aldane Thomas, the wicket runs as well. Nikita Miller had a couple of opportunities in Kaveem Hodges' over to go for singles. He was turned back by Asad Fuddadin, and it proved detrimental in the end because he was dismissed without scoring. Sunil Ambrose bowled Hodge, and O'Shane Thomas only faced 1 delivery. At that stage, Hodge was on a hat trick, and then Renard Lethbridge came to the crease. He made 2 of 14 deliveries, and the Jamaica Scorpions getting to the team interval at 202 for the loss of 9 wickets. Bowling for the Windward Islands team, Sherman Lewis. He bowled 10 overs, none for 27. Josh Thomas, 8 overs, 2 for 42. Ray Jordan, 6 overs, none for 15. Larry Edwards, 27 overs, 2 for 64.